find out very soonly.
Being live streamed.
Heard a story about 1 year in Buffalo. There was so much snow. This cop was standing in the middle of the street and he was covered in snow up to his waist. And some lady walked by. She said, I'm so sorry, officer. You have to direct traffic with all this snow. And the officer said, yeah, ma'am, but feel sorrier for my horse. And he looked at him. It's a little.
Hey, guess what? We're live.
We're live. Awesome.
Got thrown a little curveball where, well, we have to do an update first. I'm like, okay, but we made it. Just a few seconds behind, so I want to wish everybody a heartfelt welcome to Talk Time with TJ, Triple T number 203 on November 18th, 2025. Here we are, and my name is TJ Zebel. I like to call myself a professional problem solver, which I always follow up with, no, I don't know everything. I will never claim to know everything or pretend to know everything. I just have a unique way of asking questions and helping people find solutions to the challenges they're dealing with. I'm even dealing with a little challenge tonight. Got some Texas allergies going on down here, so I got the runny nose. Yeehaw! But we're making it, and we are live on YouTube, which means I get to say, hi, Mom, hey, Dave, and all the rest of you. Appreciate you tuning in. And for those of you that are on YouTube, I would appreciate it if you would do all of the YouTube things that cost you nothing but a couple of clickety clicks, but it sure helps out the channel. So if you would please click the subscribe button, ring the bell, hit the like button if you like, leave some comments, and then leave some more comments because I would like to hear your comments. And what else? We got a website I'd love everybody to check out. And if you have any suggestions on how to improve it, I'm always open to hearing suggestions. There you'll find some of the things that I do, some of the many things that I do. If you wonder what that means, click on the About Me tab, and you'll find 6 pages of things that I do, have done, and like to help people with and teach. But I am quite blessed. I get to help people with a lot of stuff like PTSD, anxiety, phobias, grief, a lot of work with people for relationship stuff, on and on and on. If you're wondering if there's something I can do to help you out, please feel free to reach out. I do offer a free, that's right, no charge to you, 30-minute consultation where we can chit-chat about what kind of challenges you're up against. And if I feel like it's something I can help you with, I will let you know. And if I feel like it is not something I can help you with, I promise I will also let you know, and I will do my best to help you find somebody to get you the results you're looking for. That being said, I think it's time to introduce the tie. That's right, we got the tie of the week. Been doing this since the first episode in 24, and you guys will recognize some of these characters if you had a cool life. If you have no idea who these characters are, welcome to the country. Don't know how long you've been living under a rock, but glad you're with us. But now it's time to anybody got anything exciting, cool, awesome to share from the last 7 days since we talked? Who's got something cool to share? Mark, you're muted.
Here we go.
There we go.
On Saturday, with a friend's assistance, I was able to log on, and these great and powerful state of Massachusetts has once again certified me to be a licensed mental health counselor.
Yay!
They screwed up for another 2 years, so
Easy how you say that, brother.
I'm now, like I said, it was going to expire the end of this year, and like I said, I had a friend who is more tech savvy than me, and he's more than willing to come over and help me out. And now I've got another 2 years to mess with the populace of Massachusetts.
Awesome.
So,
The populace of Massachusetts is lucky.
We don't want you to expire anytime soon.
Yeah.
that's a double entendre, Mike. Thank you. We don't want
Lenora.
I agree wholeheartedly with the others, Mark. We do not want you to expire anytime soon. So yay for being certified for another 2 years. That's very exciting. I love this group so much. You all know how much I absolutely love this group. And the other day, I was in a situation where if it was a couple of years before this group, I probably would have gotten taken down by that situation and like crumbled for like two plus weeks at least. And it's because of all of you, and also thank you to the fearless leader who has put up with me in the past, that I was in this situation. I was able to stand up for myself. I was able to hold my boundaries, which is very exciting. I did not get teary-eyed, which is even more exciting. And I spoke at the level that I had always wanted. It was something that was insanely like life-changing in the best ways possible. It was not my favorite situation, but it was very, very good how it ended. So that being said, you all have helped shape that about me. So thank you for sharing so vulnerably. Thank you for sharing in all the ways that you do, and for the stories that you bring and the insights that you bring, and for showing up, because even if you feel like it's not making a difference, it really does make a difference. And we've now been in 203 episodes, which is pretty awesome. And they have all made a difference. So thank you for being here.
And I think I speak for everybody that's ever been on Triple T with your presence. You help make it special as well. And I know I'm blessed to know what it was that you were up against and how hard that would have been before. So I'm very proud of you. You did it. Got a girl.
We all seem to contribute something to a bank account of goodwill, thanks to TJ. And
love that.
And it's always whatever you have put in that bank account of goodwill, which this group does on a on a weekly basis, it's always enough.
I love that. That is beautiful.
Thank you.
Anybody else got anything to share from the last 7 days?
It's been very successful up here in Park City, Utah. So life is good.
Woohoo!
Things are cooking, and gotta love it. So looking for, I'm putting together a deck for Lunch Money Club because we're going to look for investors and or strategic alliances. So if anybody is interested in either angel investing or having an opportunity that might benefit the rest of their life forever, they can reach out to lunchmoneyclubhelps@gmail.com.
Very cool.
And we're here to help and find some ways to win.
Awesome. Very cool.
When you said we're looking for sure as can be, I thought you were going to say Buffalo. Don't ask me why. But I'm very excited for Lunch Money Club.
If you'd like to see buffalo, we can make that happen. You can see wild buffalo over on Catalina Island, just off the coast of San Diego. And up here, I believe there's buffalo and elk and moose.
See, I thought there
believe
were
it or
some
not.
fun people around, fun animals around there.
Yeah, you don't really want to mess with them. They'll take you down.
Oh, come on.
All right.
I take that back. You're not allowed to expire either.
This is awesome. You guys rock. Anybody else got something they want to share before we get into this week's topics? Yes, no, maybe so. Crickets. All right.
I got a good topic to start off hour number 2. And but I think only some of you know. I'm getting a Belgian Malinois, which I'm extraordinarily excited about, and it won't officially arrive till like December 23rd. So we're all just gonna have to wait to see what she looks like.
So
But
they're
I'm
super,
very
super high
excited.
energy.
I know.
Right? It's going to match your energy. I know. So my wife is an animal trainer,
We're
and
gonna have
she's
to talk.
trained. Yeah, she's trained several Malinois, she's trained several German Shepherds, and so lots of stuff. So feel free to reach out. She used to work at
Thank you.
SeaWorld. So
Well,
with the
that's a whole
penguins,
nother conversation for another day.
yep, and dolphins. She trained dolphins down in Mexico.
Well,
So
her job is way fun.
yeah, she does editing now, but yeah, I'll show you. I'll put a picture up.
Send it to me.
This is a baby dolphin
Hmm.
that was we were there 3 hours after she was born.
Sorry, TJ. I know this is completely off topic. Guillermo!
Emma's here.
So see that right there? That's a little
Cool.
baby. So we were there 3 hours after she was born,
That's
which
adorable.
is amazing. And if you didn't know, dolphins are born breech.
Oh,
So they
that's
come out tail
unfortunate.
first,
Yeah,
and then the midwives are there, and as soon as it comes out, it's swimming,
yeah.
and they push it up to get the air.
Wow.
You know, it's really cool. Sorry for
That is cool.
sidetracking.
Oh, no, that's what I like. Squirrels are welcome here. Squirrels and dolphins and bears, oh my. Very cool. All right. Um, Anybody else got anything before we get rolling? Okay. Well, tonight's topics for episode 203 ego, pre planning, and maintenance. Ego. Oh my goodness. Yes. One of the dual-edged sword of this human experience that we are all going through. So I'm going to ask you guys, who has heard, and I just had the word, what ego stands for?
I've heard of a couple of them. I know Wayne Dyer used to say to edge God out.
Oopies. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I had said, I know Wayne Dyer used to say edge God out. Ego stands for edge
Yes,
God out.
yes. Who's got another one? Everybody's got one.
It's like belly buttons.
Actually, that one just hit me. I was trying to remember the other ones, and phew, squirrel ran away with all my answers. And yes, everybody's got one. And the reason I said double-edged, egos have gotten a bad rap over the years because of, oh, well, he's got such an ego. I can see, oh, Renee, great one, ever-growing obstacles. Yes. But you also have to remember, ego also drives people to success. That's why I say it's a double-edged sword. Are you in control of the ego, or is it controlling you? Does it fit in with the environment or not? You know, if you're around very sensitive people, having any level of ego can be very disturbing. But they're probably not accomplishing a whole lot. Just saying. And when you get around some of the boys and ladies in the very high achieving club, not having an ego can be good, but it can also leave you behind. It's learning that balance, learning how to be in control of your ego, understanding when and when is not an appropriate time to flex it, and realizing how much it's controlling your life. Are you able to control your ego? Can you turn it on and off? Can you, like the throttle in your car, can you kick it in when you need it? Can you hit the brakes when it's appropriate? And where is it taking you? Now, I've dealt with, I've got one of my triple P people. For those of you that are new and you're not quite sure what it is, that's Perfect Partner Protocol. For if you're tired of dealing with the same, I used to say loser, but we're just going to say the same challenging person in a different meat suit. You're also going to be dealing with other people's egos, which is a whole nother fun challenge in this human experience that we are going through. And are you able to keep your ego from wanting to throat punch the other person who's flexing their ego, whether they're doing it consciously or not? How many of you have dealt with egomaniacs who just simply do not know how to shut it off, control it, throttle it down, and they can't understand why people are just not very kind to them? Nobody wants to play on my team. Well, that's because you're a jerk, Ken. I am not. I'm a nice guy. Just ask me. And if I don't like your answer, I'll tell you what answer you should have. Because I'm a nice guy. Now, excuse me, I have to go get my Ferrari serviced. And they all suck up there too. And if you're in an industry that has to deal with these egomaniacs, how do you deal with the energy drain that they love to do? Because, of course, that's what you were put on this planet to do, is feed them energy and boost their ego. Lenora.
I find that when I think this has gotten a bit easier as I've gotten to be an adult, until these are people that are really, really close to you, and you can't simply just not be friends with them, or they're in your life period. And I have found, I was oddly enough wrestling with the words this morning, and I'm like, which way am I putting this? unconditional love does not equal unconditional tolerance. And to be able to hold the line that says, we're not going to be having a conversation like this ever again if you continue to do this, and being okay through and through. And I think that was a huge difference. Is before I would have felt like, oh my God, what did I just say? Oh my God, this is going to go completely wrong. And the internal voice would have had a meltdown. And this time it was completely different. It was, if there were gates or like just barriers being put down, it wasn't like one was kind of like up and down, up and down. It was like, no, 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 no. Everything was just very consistent across the board. And it was something that I was paying attention to while I was having my fun conversation. And that was a huge difference, is that there was no other voice going off in my head going, I'm wrong, I should apologize. It was, no, I should not be treated this way.
And that's a great representation of protective empathy versus suicidal empathy. When dealing with egomaniacs, the best thing you can do is get really good at protective empathy. And you don't have to tell them that you understand that they're an asshat and they're wrong. You just understand who they are, what they are, and you protect your energy. Lenora.
There was something that I came across this week, and it had said toxic empathy. And oh my gosh, you know how we hear like such extremes like toxic positivity. When I heard toxic empathy, you can hear how it's paired right with protective empathy. And I think especially because we have open conversations like this, and we recognize that we should not be treated in a certain way, or to set that boundary. And we also see the matrix as to why that person is behaving the way that they are, and that they might not know any better, or they might not have thought about it from a different level. But having that understanding also doesn't dismiss the fact and be like, oh, well, they can say whatever they want. Oh, okay, well, I'll just have to be understanding. And I think that's the balance. That's the line to be walked.
Yes. And the sucky part is when you just have to deal with them, whether it's work. And of course, the worst part about when it happens at work is when you've been at this place long enough, you're established, you've got your bennies, you got all that stuff, and it's somebody new that comes in. And like I say, oftentimes, it doesn't take much vinegar to ruin the punch. And realizing that, oh my, now I have to decide, how am I going to deal with this on the daily? How long am I willing to put up with it for my mental and physical health and well-being? And is there anything that I can do? And part of the safety net is making sure that you have a tribe that can help you. You know, some people are like, well, I can't understand why people go to happy hour after work. Sometimes it's because it's cheaper than therapy or killing people. And we have to recognize that. Is it the best answer? Very debatable. Is it understandable? Yeah, I was a bartender for quite a while. And I got really good at being a bar stool therapist, listening to these people, and I didn't understand the amount of reframing that I did at the time. Can you imagine me as a bartender now?
You'd never go home. They'd have to put a cot up for you, or you'd be sleeping in the booth.
Either that or I'd be making a lot more tips. But that's the part of letting your ego relax and having that protective empathy and looking at humans and going, wow, if that's the only way that they can get the therapy that they need to stay grounded, well, that's the best answer so far. That's the best answer they've found so far. But I'm not going to get in the mix and give up my peace and energy simply because I understand what they may be going through. You don't know what programming they grew up with, what's going on in their head. You guys ready for a left field question of the day that a squirrel just threw at
I was
me?
gonna say, what the squirrels just deliver?
Oh, squirrels. This came off of an Instagram reel,
I was hoping you
and
were gonna say back
it
in the
has
cereal box.
been rattling around in my gray matter ever since. And a guy asked if a person is deaf from birth, what language do they think in?
I saw that one.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. How do you ask them? Well, it's also kind of like ego. If people have never been taught ego or how to control it, what language is their ego speaking to them in? Do they even recognize it? Do they understand what level of control this ghost voice in their head has over their life, over their happiness, over their satisfaction, over so many things that the ego controls? Any input, ahas, epiphanies on that? Mark?
Yeah, you talk about people having fragile egos. And I think, again, I think initially we have to develop, they talk about people having to grow a thicker skin to deal with, people that are massively egocentric, but if I understand correctly, what happened today for Miss Lenora, she demonstrated good ego strength in her, in her challenge today. So,
Thank you.
as you're welcome, as I see it, I call them like I see them. But having good ego strength means that, you're not, your fragility factor. Like I said, you have good ego strength. You don't have too tough a skin, but at the same time, I think again, I think people become resilient, and sometimes they have to work with somebody who is egocentric to develop that good ego strength.
Or grow up with them.
That's a plot twist.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
I think if we think back, we can all think of that one person when we were young that we can remember that oftentimes we looked at him like, really? Like, wow, like, what is wrong with you? Not understanding their level of ego or how they had so much stuff, but we couldn't understand why people didn't like them. People didn't want to be around them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Billy's got that really nice car, but nobody wants to ride with him. Why? Well, because he's a Richard Cranium. Code name.
I know
His
that guy.
ego is so big, we have no idea how he actually walks through doorways. You can smell his ego 10 minutes before he shows up.
That's a good one.
Oh, there's a disturbance in the forest. Richard must be on his way. Quick, everybody run. The kind of people that can show up at a party and kill it simply by showing up.
Mm.
But yet their ego is so bright that they're blinded to what the effect that they have on people.
I think what's most surprising is that they don't think that they have one. Sorry, Mark, I didn't see your hand.
No worries. I was just going to say, the TJ talked about Richards, is the female equivalent Karen's. Seems to be a popular term. And yeah, like I said, but yeah, they're a legend in their own mind. That's how they have
Yeah.
too much ego.
Yes, and I've dealt with plenty people who are distinct legends in their own mind.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them were sad to watch because they had the potential to be a really awesome human being. But they didn't know what their effect was. They couldn't see it. As Lenora often says, they were standing too close to the mirror.
Such a good one, right?
Yeah, Nancy.
And I have encountered this with a couple people in the last few years. I just had to walk away.
Yes.
I mean, I had no other option. They literally drained me.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and that is protective empathy. And thank God you had that ability because sometimes it's really tough. You can see the potential. But again, it doesn't take a whole lot of vinegar to ruin the punch. And we really don't need projects when it comes to human beings, especially those close to us. There are so many human beings on this planet. Pick another one. And that's why one of my triple Ps, they again found a best so far. But when you really fall in love with yourself, when you work on yourself harder than anything else, ironically, it can be a lonely place until you gather up your new tribe. Because the old tribe, you will understand why you were miserable around why you were miserable at the time, and you realized they were adding misery to your life. Oh, good, you're here. Let me tell you how flippin' awful my life is, and oh my gosh, and if you're having a good day, well, nothing torques off an egomaniac more than you having a better day than they do, or you having a better story than they do, or you having better luck than they do. And they will have to find something that can bring you down to their level so that they can feel good. Thank you for showing up. And thank you for showing up, Indy. I didn't want you thinking. Sometimes it's all about timing. And they show up just to bring you down. That had nothing to do with you. But that's, again, why I teach my clients the difference between protective empathy and suicidal or toxic empathy. Especially those of us that are the caretakers, the fixers, the people that want to help others. It's so easy for us to get sucked into that energy and give up our energy, hoping to do good. Mark.
Yeah, I find the people that like to play the game of one-upmanship have very fragile egos.
Yes.
They they if you've been to the moon, they've been to Venus. You know, they always have to come up with a better story, a better achievement than you, and I think that's very indicative of a fragile ego.
Yep, dealt with plenty of them. Holly.
Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes.
So just a thought of, I heard this about pride rather than ego, but it's kind of, I think, basically the same thing. The idea of pride is buying into the lie that your worth is even remotely based on your relationship to others, where the truth is, you know, humility, whatever you want to call it, lack of ego, whatever, true confidence is recognizing that your worth is infinite, it's not determined, and how well you're doing is only in relation to the best you could do in those circumstances, and also with a little bit of what is your intention.
Yes. Amazingly well put. Thank you. Anybody else got any ahas, epiphanies, inputs on that?
Yeah, oftentimes I will get into conversation with people and they're not necessarily bad people. They're just unconscious, right? They don't assess what's going on in their heads, you know, and I guess the ego is an especially good storyteller, a story manufacturer, right? And you hear these stories, you can tell they've told this story a million times before, justifying their weaknesses a lot, you know, why they can't do this and haven't done that. And, you know, it's usually somebody else's fault and they're victims. They don't use all those words, but the stories tell that, you know, and that's tiring listening to those stories, because sometimes what do you do? It's like, I don't know, just try to help them become more conscious that they might be telling a story and there's a new story they can tell. But sometimes they don't listen and they just go on and on and on and on, telling that same story and thus creating the same mundane existence that they've been stuck in for, probably a long time.
And the more they tell the story, the more it reinforces it to be their truth in their head.
Right.
And Lenora put in the comments that she had often called them narcissists, but I guess they don't necessarily go hand in hand. A lot of the egomaniacs can have the high potential for narcissistic traits. And I would say that the vast majority of narcissists have very strong inflated egos.
Absolutely.
So it's a commonality with the two of them. But I can also see where you could have a narcissist with a weak ego or a fragile ego. Narcissists, again, it's all about me, but I may have poor self-image, and I almost like a Napoleon complex. I've got this story of, oh, woe is me. And so I'm going to make sure that everybody knows, don't mess with me. I've had a horrid life and I won't take flack from anybody and all the above. And again, we can look at these people and have some understanding of what we believe their reasoning is.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, we have to put the oxygen mask on ourselves first, protect ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and wish them love and light, but not ours. The universe has plenty of love and light to give them if they would accept it. But we don't have to deplete ours in hopes of changing them.
Yep.
Any other ahas, epiphanies on that before we try and fit in 2 topics tonight? Yes, no? Okay, then we're going to switch over to topic number 2, pre-planning, which George Carlin would say is one of those useless ways of saying a word. Pre-planning. Well, planning is something that you're doing for the future. So if you're pre-planning, are you doing future work on your future work? But a lot of it comes down to, I brought this up along with ego and again, the fact that it's November. We're halfway through November already. So we got what, 6 weeks of 2025 left? How many people have started pre-planning for 2026? When you look back at 25, what are you most proud of? What can you improve or change in the last 6 weeks or less? What do you want 26 to look like? When would now be a good time to get started on 26? Of course, keeping your ego in check. Now, some of you may know that I've done a lot of work in construction and building, and the property we have here in Texas, I've built a lot of stuff. Right now I'm building an addition onto the shop, and was hoping to have some help, but the guy I was going to hire is way too busy. So I'm doing it myself, which takes additional pre-planning so that I can figure out how to put this stuff up, and it's going well. Today I had one of my bigger challenges. I had to put up a 24-foot steel beam onto a 10-foot 6x6 cedar posts, and planned it all out in my head, and I had already measured out, pre-drilled all of the lag holes in the beam, and it went really well. But it's not something that you just grab on to a bunch of 6x6s and go, yeah, I'm just gonna set these up and I'm gonna put some metal beams on it and I'm gonna build this and that. So I may be a little bit in the department of Overthinkers Anonymous. I'm definitely a member of Overbuilders Anonymous. The president, I may not be the president, but he knows me. And I've often said that people will plan trips, they will plan parties, they will plan so many things in depth, every detail, everything they want to do, but they won't plan their life. They won't plan their improvement. It's not until they get to a point where things are so uncomfortable, or they see somebody who has invested the time and they're like, oh, I want some of that. Oh, how'd you do that? Well, I worked on myself. I did a lot of planning. I didn't just float down the river of life, letting it take me wherever it wants. So again, when you look back at 25, or if you want to go even more, the last 365 days, and then for true reflection, look at your entire life. Put that entire timeline down, up to now. Where did you start? What have you gone through and survived? What were peaks and valleys? What were some decisions that you made in the past that you went, didn't quite turn out as I thought? What decisions did you make where you're like, wow, I got so lucky on that one? What were some decisions that were made for you, whether the universe or others that at the time you thought were tragedy and turned out to be a blessing? And where do you want to continue to go with that? Are you on a track that you are happy with? If there's something that you could improve, what might it be? What are the steps that you could reverse engineer to make that more of a possibility. Just like with my triple P clients, they're surprised at the amount of, I guess you would call it pre-homework, because it's basically pre-planning who you're going to meet. And they're like, "Why? You can't plan on who you're going to meet." Well, in a way, you can.
Yep.
Some of the stuff that I have my clients do in triple P is do a full description on who your person is, as though you have known them intimately for 5 years. What are their interests? Where do they shop? And of course, people are like, "Well, I don't know." I said, if they were your perfect person, are they shopping at Walmart or Whole Foods or the farmer's market? Do they drive a jacked up, super loud 4x4 or a Geo Metro or a BMW or a minivan? And all of that is a form of pre-planning, because you're suddenly starting to open up your eyes for the correct environment, the correct signals. It's also the same way with people that want to have better financial stability. You start learning what people do to accomplish financial stability. Who can I hang out with that their knowledge, their language, their thought processes can influence my life to be led towards more financial prosperity? Lenora.
I heard something really interesting before I came on Triple T today, and Elijah was the one who had initially shared this person on YouTube with me, and his name is Nero. It's Nero, and it's Nero Knowledge, and he's just very, very interesting, and he brings a very quantum physics insight to it, very high level consciousness. And he goes, it doesn't matter whether you're talking about relationships, money, anything. Go all the way back to the source. What are your beliefs about manifestation? Which I thought was really, really, really interesting, especially because the personal growth world will say manifestation is the physical representation. And he's saying, no, it's not the physical representation. It's the shift in your emotions, in your perception, and you are content whether you're experiencing it or not. That is the manifestation. And then there's that time lag. And I thought that was super, super insightful. I like the definition about manifestation, but when he said, go back to your beliefs about manifestation, I was like, oh, that was really powerful.
Yes.
Passing it along.
Well, and thank you for sharing that, because that, again, if you think about it, is a form of going back to plan on how you're going to utilize that amazing power. And so many people, it's no different than people that have never seen a car. And all of a sudden they see one, they went, "Oh, I think, yeah, I want a car. That's what I want." But they know nothing about what to ask for. If they were going to go to a dealership that didn't have the car sitting there and were asked, "Well, do you want a 2-door or a 4-door?" I don't even know what that means. Do you want automatic or manual transmission? I have. Do you want a pickup truck or do you want a? They would first have to find a dealership. They could see the car in a movie, but they have no idea how it operates. They just know that people get in, it magically moves, and it takes them to another destination quickly. And it's kind of like us seeing people that have gone from this level of life to this level of life. Well, I want to be here. I want to get on that gravy train, that awesome, all that. Find the dealership, learn about vehicles, learn about what vehicle is the best fit for you. Map out where it is that you want to be. Study the people that are there at that level. Lenora.
For anybody who's chiming into this for the first time, I have definitely said this before, and I used to hate the idea of pre-planning. I used to hate the idea of future pacing because I was having a response, and it was a physical response, and I could feel it, and it was going, but what if? But what if? It was a twinge of what if this doesn't happen, or why hasn't it happened yet? And I found the greatest benefit was talking to that inner voice first, figuring out who was talking, what she was saying, finding ways to calm her down, and then looking for people who have done it already and slowly working her up the emotional scale. Because consciously I could be like, yeah, I could follow their plan. But it was that subconscious reflex of what if this doesn't happen? And for the longest time, I hate it. I think if you go back to like episode like 15 or 16, when I finally started talking on triple T's, you will hear me say very specifically that I did not like future pacing. I did not like future planning. And I have such a different representation of it now, and definitely a much, much better relationship with pre-planning. So
Awesome. Anybody else got any ahas, epiphanies, inputs?
I was going to just say about the car thing. If you see a car or anything that you want, you don't, there's some desire there. I think one of the first steps might be to question your motivation.
There.
Before you even plan it, like start there. Like, why do I think I need this thing? In this particular case, a car. Is it because of its utility can get me more comfortably and economically from point A to point B, or do I want to look cool in this car? Right. So I don't know. I think it's always wise to assess why you think you need something in your life. Right.
And that can be a physical item. It can also be a talent.
Sure.
Why do I want to learn how to do something?
Mm-hmm.
And am I willing to put in the work to get to a level? What level do I want to be at?
Sure.
Like learning how to play piano. Do you want to learn how to play chopsticks? Do you want to be in a grand symphony orchestra? Or do you want to be on stage with a rock band in front of 40,000 screaming people? And that's all part of figuring out your motivation, your why, and some people that know me know that I understand plot twist left turn very intimately. I've had many plot twist left turns in my life. But they've brought me here. 15 years ago, if somebody would have told me that at some point in the future I would be doing this, I mean, I was still kind of open-minded there, but I would have never seen or been able to visualize the trail that would have brought me here today with all of you. And I am so glad that it brought me here, because every one of you have brought something into my life. And with that, we're at the top of the first hour.
That went fast.
Greg,
Sorry. Can I say something about pre? This is like a,
yes.
I guess you call it a pet peeve of mine. I just have to bring this up. A while ago, I had the first conversation about pre with my son, right? Who's as much of a wise ass as I am, right? Maybe a little bit more so. We had this like argument about preheating the oven. I'm like, Xander, you're either heating the oven or you're not heating the oven. Like preheat, is that just thinking about it? Is that the pre part? You know, it's like you can't pre anything. Planning, right? You're either planning or you're not. Like you said, pre-drill. How do you pre-drill? You imagine a hole in something? You know, it's like can you pre-eat? Do you pre-shower? Do you pre-walk, pre-sleep? Right? It's like, I don't know. There's no pre. They say financial planning. They don't say financial pre-planning. It's like, because you're doing it. Like you're actually doing the thing. So pre-drive, pre-poop. It's like you can't pre. Either you're doing it or you're not. You might be thinking about it, but then you're just thinking about it. You're not planning. You're not doing it. So anyway, just had to say that because I hear people say it so unconsciously sometimes, just in public, whatever, pre this or pre that. I'm like, no.
And George Carlin did a skit on that.
Did he?
And went on a rant. And yeah, it is just as hilarious as what you just said. Yes, there are so many. That's the joys of language.
Yes.
There are so many ways that if you really understand and study language, there's enough of them where you're like, did we just put those together?
Yeah.
And yet people look at those of us in this realm where we use language to help people break old stories.
Yep.
And again, another power of language. Just like the power of time manipulation, where 1 hour went by just like that. So, for those of you that are new to Triple T, the way this works, it's a 2-hour show, and we just made it through the first hour. Second hour is open platform, open mic. Anybody on the call can bring up a question or a topic, and I let all the people on the call answer first because I like to learn as well. So, who's got a question or a topic to start off hour 2? Come on, we know how this game works.
Well done. Do, 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 do.
I know you guys have questions written down, so I'm going to start picking. Renee, thank you.
Okay. So this has been kind of rattling around in my head. I know that people, a lot of times they come for you, they're either having issues with fear or wanting to, find their love or some other sort of issue. But the one thing that kind of is a reoccurring theme under all of them is allowing yourself to be vulnerable, opening yourself up to the possibility of things not working out. And I think that's why it becomes so much harder when you're older. It's like you've already been burned so many times. How can you just continue to open yourself up to the experience, to the next person without, obviously we work through getting rid of excess baggage. And I know I've done a lot of work. I'm sure pretty much everybody on here has. But still, at least for me, I don't want to put words in anybody else's mouth. There's still this hesitation. It's like, do I really want to go through this again? Yeah, I've dealt with the past, but at the same time, do I really want to take a face plant again? Do I really, the last one was hard enough as it was, and I'm aware of the fact that that is a possibility. And maybe that's why it's so much easier when you're younger. It's because you haven't been hit in the face, you haven't fallen down, so it's easier to be open. It's easier to be vulnerable to the experience because it's all new. But then as you get older and you're like, oh no, I really would like to find this person that makes my life whole, or I really would like to find that job that, just brings a smile to my face. But after you've gone through so many iterations, yeah, we see the patterns, we expelled the emotion. But how do you allow that part of you to open? And I guess I just opened that up to everybody.
Okay, who's got an answer? Great question.
Well, I've got. Oh, go ahead.
Go. You're good. You're good, Greg. Go for it.
I think that for me anyway, it was more difficult when I was younger because I didn't have the tools, the knowledge, the experience, and hopefully the wisdom and the knowing of my power that I can choose how I want to feel in response to what's going on out there. So Renee said before, something about you've been burned, right? I think I keep hearing Bashar saying, no, you've never been burned. Your conditioned, judgmental mind and ego made a decision that something quote unquote bad happened and you resisted it and because you were afraid of it. And then the outcome wasn't so great. And so you label it as I got burned. But maybe we've never been burned, actually burned. Maybe Bashar would say that everything happens, for our greater good. There's no mistakes. It's all coming from a benevolent, source, right? So I don't know. For me, as I get old, as I've gotten older and been doing more of this, I realize that maybe there is no bad. Maybe there are challenges, but maybe everything is for us. And to watch those old judgments before and not judge as much anymore, and thus accept more, allow more, detach a little bit more, and be a little bit freer of that old thinking, the old judgments, the old restrictive thoughts, perhaps.
Great answer. Lenora.
I find that yes, that piece definitely makes sense, as in what Greg just shared, that higher version or that clearer minded version, that adult version of me, that whatever label you want to call it, can understand that. I also find that in what Renee so beautifully shared, that I've also been there. I've had that worry. And what I've done is I just go back and forth and I have the conversation between the two and paying attention to when I am feeling that emotional fear, that worry, or that part, whatever it's coming up, giving that a voice and talking to that voice, but from like a calmer state or a coaching space or a more at ease space, and having that back and forth. And I will then ask that part, how else might we want to look at it? If this is you feeling that you are staying in a lower frequency because of this thought or because of whatever's coming up, this is you staying down in this lower frequency, how might we start to move you upwards? What might you need to know? What might you need to understand? And having that younger part come to their own conclusions and conversing back and forth, because what happens is it's no longer as if you're pushing the buoy underwater. It starts to come back up to a calmer state. And in that, what you're also doing is you're walking the bridge of the conscious and the subconscious. You're clearing it on a neurosomatic level. You're getting this massive insight and you're doing it in real time. And that was a huge thing, especially with reality transurfing. We're constantly moving in and out of these spaces. We just don't know it because we are so used to thinking the way that we are. Like we can be really high and clear and have these great insights, and then something comes up and it pulls us down, and that's that misalignment, that's that teetering. When we can start to manage that and bring it back up and move it into a better feeling space, get that resolve in real time, your entire timeline shifts. And that was a very, very powerful thing that reality transurfing had helped me understand.
Great answer.
Very cool.
Anybody else got anything they want to add to this? Yes, no, maybe so. Time for my two centavos. First thing that came to mind, what Greg touched on, is you're not the same person today. You can look back at all the things that you've gone through, aka all the things you've survived. And most people mistakenly hang on to the worst part of the story. Oh, woe is me, my heart got broken. Oh, I remember that time, and boy, it really sucked. Yes, but that is all history now. You've made it this far. You've learned a few things. And it's easy for me to say because, man, I've been through a few things. I've survived a few things. But two things also came to mind with that. One was, I believe Wayne Dyer was the one that said, do you believe that you are living in a hostile world or a friendly world? Is the world out to help you or is it out to hinder you? And Mindy asked a good question. How do we detach from all the stories? The way you detach from them is realize that that's what they are. They are stories about events that you've experienced. They happened. They are not happening.
Yeah.
You learned from them, but you don't have to carry the schmutz and the story together. And in doing so, you can understand that if you survive that and you learned from it, you can go into that environment again with eyes open. But even if you would avoid that environment altogether, life is still going on, life is still going to happen, and you can sit there in fear, thinking that the world is out to get you. And as you guys have heard me say many times, in the quantum of possibilities, best case scenario is just as probable as worst case scenario. The one that you will see the most is the one that you look for and the one that you feed the most energy to.
Yep.
So if you believe that your relationships are scary because, man, this one time I was with this one person and they did this thing and it's probably going to happen again. Well, you start looking for evidence to that happening. Oh, I'm afraid of horses. Why? Well, when I was 7, this horse bit me. Was that horse still alive? Don't go near that horse. Oh no, that horse died 10 years, but I don't even know if the horse is alive. Well, did the horse tell all of its descendants and every horse on the planet that if you show up, you're very tasty and you should be bitten? Well, no. Well, then find out what the other horses are like. I've had a ton of jobs. I've done a ton of different things. Don't believe me? Go to my website, click on About Me. It's all there. If I was so scared of what has not worked for me in the past, I would not be here. If I judged relationships with humans, I would not be married. I've seen some stuff, gone through some stings. I've got plenty of stories, but they're in the past. Lenora.
Wanted to touch back still on Renee's question. Some other things were coming up, and even as you're having that conversation, even saying, what if this was the only time that it happened, or what if that was just a bad experience and you had to learn it, and not working to convince them otherwise, not working to convince them that what happened didn't matter, but working to help them understand that they're okay and that you have their back. And something else that was really powerful was, if I didn't take this chance, if I didn't go out and do this thing or whatever it was, if I didn't look for a relationship, or if I didn't look for the dream job or whatever it was, that version of me at the end of days, what is she going to say? If only I had more courage, or if only I wasn't scared, if only this, I also talked to her. And I will tell you this other thing. So I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was TJ that had mentioned this to me, that he came across a reel and somebody had shared this on Instagram. And it is something that has made a very lovely difference in my life. And I will share it with all of you. This happens to be a very old picture of when I was very, very young. And the one, it's pretty cute, I won't lie. It's one of my favorites. And the one that TJ had said was, this person sat with their younger self, or sat with a picture of themselves, and said, "I love you" to them for 5 minutes a day. Now, I don't know. I didn't actually see the reel. I don't know if he made it up or if it actually existed or whatever the case was. But it is something that has made a huge difference. And even just holding the picture and doing that for 5 minutes a day, I strongly encourage people to just do it for a week. Do 3 minutes a day just for a week, and write down what you notice as you go through this process. And if you want to pre-plan there, Greg Duncan, you can pre-plan the idea of picking up the picture and going through the process. And let me know if you're in your pre-planning of when you go to pick out I was going to say print out the picture of Siva's. Oh my God, that's adorable. Oh,
I was 9.
Aw.
Yep. So I talked to him.
See?
He just caught a frog.
What do you notice? What's such a huge difference when you talk to him versus when you don't talk to him?
When I talk to him, it helps. It helps him, it helps me, all the same entity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just especially because I was in such a pure state back then. It's before cell phones and computers. I was up in New Paltz, New York State, in the swamp catching frogs for my grandfather so he could make frogs' legs for dinner, right? In the swamp with old sneakers on, standing there with no shirt on. It was miraculous. It was like out in nature, just like there were no rules. I was always on an endless adventure, So I was happy back then, So I look at the picture, I say, "Hi, Greg, I love you. Thanks for reminding me of who I am, the experiences that I had, how it has molded me to be the person that I am or have become now, Really great.
I love that.
Yeah. We have to accept all of ourselves. You know, it's so important. Young, old, good, bad, fat, skinny, tall, short, whatever. It's like, you know, pseudo, bad habits or whatever. It's like accept, embrace all of us. All of us love all of ourselves. We come here handicapped, without a rule book. We're doing pretty damn good considering like no training and like
Agreed.
having been forced to forget 99% of what we know when we're home, you know? Like we're doing pretty good. Embrace all of it. And it's all for us, right? All of our challenges and whatever, like what we're good at, what we're not so good at. It's like this is all impetus to keep going, to find ourselves once again, right?
I love that.
Mark.
Well, trying to weave all this together in Renee's.
Thank goodness you got your license again for another 2 years.
I know. I mean, it might take me 2 years to answer this question. We, but the idea that, again, your life is a story, okay? And the stories that we weave them to find meaning in our lives, okay? Using oxytocin and cortisol, we get to decide what we weave. And I don't know how you guys feel about rewriting your own stories, but you do it. If you do it consciously, like I said, you own the loom. You can reweave the the stories of your life any way you want when you take control of the process. You can get the good meaning or the less than positive meaning, like TJ was saying. But what do you guys do to rewrite those stories? Like I said, how do you take control of the loom and reweave the tapestry of your lives? Okay, because the tapestry of our lives gives our lives meaning, and what Greg was saying about happiness, like I said, and joy, like I said, that's one I wouldn't choose to reweave, because there's such, joy in him telling the story, and what and what Nora was saying about that picture, that young version of herself. Like I said, that's a good story. We wouldn't choose to reweave it, but we control the shuttle. We control how we reweave the tapestry of our lives, and you can reweave it. Like I said, if you know that it's all just the thing you tell yourself enough to reweave again, our part of our mind does that. Like I said, when we read a book, we decode the letters with the left side of the brain. With the right side of our brain, we weave the tapestry of the story. So we do it naturally. It's a natural phenomenon of people to take whatever comes at them and then weave a tapestry. But we rarely take control of the larger tapestry of our lives, so that we can take on that challenge of reweaving that, taking control of the shuttle and and reweaving it so that it's a good story. It's a happy story. It's a story filled with adventure and passion and all the wonderful things that life can be about. So that's kind of like my summing up of all the things that I've heard. So
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm hearing Bashar's voice in my head again. He did a video, at least one, like on this. He goes, I'm sorry to tell you, but life is meaningless. Like there's nothing, like you can't find meaning in life. You are creating the meaning, right? In response to what's happening out there and what you're choosing, how you're choosing to be in response to it. Finding the joy, not limiting yourself, not living from fear, because then you restrict your experience. Like you give your life meaning. It's a blank slate, right? Do we not, whether we do it consciously or unconsciously, subconsciously, are we not giving our lives meaning every moment of our life, right?
Well, and Renee put in the comments, maybe a better question is, how do you find the drive, the energy, the passion to do it again? It doesn't feel like baggage I'm carrying. It's finding the go juice to do it all over again, go and blaze a new trail. And part of that will be taking a look, an assessment of where are you now? Are you happy where you are? Is this the best life that you can have? And another thing I like to do, take your timeline out in front of you, stretch it out, and take a close look at what have you accomplished till today. The thing that we don't know is how much time we have left. You know, you got Tim McGraw's song, Live Like You Were Dying. If you found out that you've got 3 weeks to live, how different would your priorities be? If somebody told you I came from the future and you accomplished many great things, would you go out looking for those many great things, or would you prove them wrong? We can do anything. It's been proven. There's plenty of stories out there. Why might it be important for you to get up and go do something different with your life before the universe decides to come in and give you a smack on the head and a plot twist left turn, and you have to do it anyway? Lenora.
I find also, I love your question, Renee, how to find the drive. For me, I would say, is it important to you? And it's not a bad thing, or to anybody. It's not a bad thing if it's not. For example, I used to have a cookie business and I enjoyed making cookies, and it was something that did bring me joy. Just because I can do it doesn't mean I need to go do it. I didn't continue to go and open a bakery, even though I could if I really wanted to go down that business rabbit hole. I just don't have the passion for it. When it comes to helping other people, when it comes to speaking or the things that I'm doing now, there's such a passion for it that I don't sleep sometimes, and it wakes me up in the middle of the night. And that just happens to be me. If there is something, especially with certain things that go on in our own personal lives, if you're kind of like, yeah, I'd like to, but I just don't want to, something just doesn't make me want to do it, I think that in itself is something to acknowledge and say, that's okay. You don't have to do it. And you don't have to push yourself, especially because, bless you, in our culture, we can get very wrapped up in hustle culture and go, 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 and push, 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 and be over motivated and over hustled and go on 40 hours of sleep, 40 hours of daytime and 0 sleep. You don't have to. And if you're feeling like, no, I really should, who's shoulding you in there? Bless you. Who's shoulding you? Who's talking and working to convince you otherwise, especially if it's, well, if you don't do it, then you're selfish. Or if you don't do it, then you're this, then you're that, and you're getting a beating over the head from an inner critic. Paying attention to that. If it's something that you feel like, it would be nice, but I'm okay, I just don't want to tell somebody that I'm okay not doing it, I would focus in on that and pay attention, because you already know the answer. You don't have to push yourself. And whether that's to Renee or to anybody else, you don't have to push yourself just because you think you should, or that's what this type of person would do, or that's what they think they should do. It's okay. And even sitting with that and for me for a while, there were two things that I was focused on, and I ended up staying stuck in one thing and not resolving it for a while, because if I did resolve it, I then had to deal with what was after it, and paying attention to, if you spin your wheels here long enough, what is it protecting you from? And it's okay. It's not that it's anything to judge. It's just something to raise your awareness to. And in doing so, one of the things that I found to be really helpful is, before I even reached out to anybody, I started writing down in a journal all the things that I didn't want to say, all the things that I shouldn't be thinking, and all the things I shouldn't have said or out loud to anybody, or I'm a bad person for this and I should, I'm so selfish for feeling this way. Again, those are stories that we're taught. We're taught. If you actually think of it, we were born not knowing what the word selfish meant. We were born not knowing the difference between a spoon, a fork, or a dollar bill. We are taught that we are selfish. We are taught that we should put others first. We are taught to people please. We are taught that this is what a good person looks like. And all those definitions, everything comes from the meaning, thank you, Bashar, the meaning that you made from it at that point in time. And if that definition is no longer working for you, it is okay to upgrade it. And I think it's more than okay to find people, reach out to anybody here, reach out to whomever you feel like you could talk to and not be judged. And that, to me, is a difference that will make a massive life-changing difference in your life.
Absolutely agree.
Great answers.
Yep. Everything you're saying is absolutely necessary. It's not just okay, to allow yourself to make those decisions and not judge yourself for it. Like, no, I'm not feeling it, right? Not just okay, it's really necessary to be really clear and to just let go, like the reweaving, right? Reweaving those old thoughts, those old ideas that were taken on when we were sponges, and we had nothing to say about it. Now's the
Very
time.
much so.
Yeah.
Even for me, one of the biggest ones was TJ was the one that helped me through my eating disorder. And in saying all the ugly things I did not want to say. And I'm telling you, if you're in Chicago and you heard my keynote, that is a live, true story of what happened. And I was so horrified of having the words tumble out of my mouth. I was sobbing through the entire thing. And I even said, "You're judging me." And he goes, "I'm not judging you. I'm right here." And he pointed out that I had been judging myself the entire time, of which you could hear the tone in his voice that was incredibly sincere, where he wasn't judging me. I was judging me for that. And that emotional release, that real time shift of acknowledging this awful feeling in your nervous system, getting it out of your body and shifting, that was the manifestation that I was talking about earlier. Shifting that energy, shifting that emotion, letting it go out of your body.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. Good stuff. Do we have another topic or questions that we can go into? Anybody? Anybody? Okay, while we're waiting, I was going through my notes and came across a little saying that I posted on my monitor, and it says, "I'm over ego, I'm into we go."
Oh, that's a fun one.
I'm over ego. I'm into we go. I want to go places. I want to live life. I want to experience stuff. I want to get more stuff and I want to fill my life with more good. Mark.
Just a little question. Maybe it's a big can of worms. I seem to like to open those. Um, I've had a grief in my life. Lost my best friend of 50 years in the last week or so. And but I was talking to a buddy of mine. We're both part of the same inner circle of friends. And he was saying that he had experienced three losses in the same amount of time. And I was listening to something from Brett Weinstein, and he said he used to say this to people all the time. And somewhere along the way, he stopped saying it. But I thought it was very powerful. When someone is going through grief, you should wish them, you grieve well. And however you guys want to define that. Are you going through the process of denial, bargaining, anger, sadness, acceptance, and then rarely we get to the last stage, which is meaning. But I wanted to know if people are, like you said, having experienced that recently, to have someone say to me, and I said to my friend, well, may you grieve well, because he's had some, may you get through the process. And I thought that was a very powerful thing to say to him. And, I just wanted, does anybody had any input on that?
Cool. Lenora.
I love this question, Mark. Thank you so much because people have so many different insights on this. I'm really curious to see what other people share. One thing that I'm a very big supporter of is nobody should tell you how to grieve, what time frame should be on it, when it should happen. The, pushing people on the bye, Wendy. You're welcome. Bye. Nobody should tell you how or what's right for you. That is something I very firmly believe. And I believe I also heard this from an actress, and she said, especially in the case that she was talking about, she said it comes in waves. And I do very much believe that also, especially from my own way of processing my own life, it goes in waves. And even through, whether it was a disagreement with one person or a something that occurred or didn't occur, it goes in waves. How you process is how you process, and that's the only thing that matters.
Great answer. Who else has some input, ahas, epiphanies on this? Obviously, I get.
Great group
Oh,
tonight.
go ahead, Greg.
I'm just trying to bring this together, the ego and grieving, right? As we start off, this is talking about ego, right? So for me of late, especially of late, it's like a snowball effect for me lately. I've been paying attention, just keeping my awareness very high. I've been making the hard choices or making the choices that I need to make, doing the work. And it seems like who talked about this? How the ego can actually from the book The Great Pain Deception. I've had that I don't know if you're familiar with that book or not. It's a very radical way of looking at illnesses, sicknesses, right? That the ego actually will trigger either old physical maladies or new ones. As you get closer to yourself, the ego is losing itself, it's dying, and perhaps going through its own form of grieving for its own death, perhaps. I don't know where this is coming from exactly, but I know that my ego is definitely way quieter and it's not necessarily happy about it. I can hear it whimpering over the corners, like, oh, come on, please, you used to listen to me so much more. I have so much to say. I'm so right. Come on, do as I say. And I'm like, thank you for that. Now, shh, be quiet, And it's dying. And the lately for me, like I was saying, the more I whatever become aware of and the more work I do to let go of old things that don't work anymore, I have more physical, like my knees, TJ, as you know, my knees have been bugging me like crazy. My neck is sore. I had a sore tooth on Thursday that was so bad. I had to call the dentist and go in to see him, and then it went away because I said to my ego, whatever that force is, that's like I feel like it's something fighting against me. I go, I'm not listening to you. I know where I'm going. I'm not going to be swayed by whatever you're trying to do to stop me. So I don't know. Various thoughts about this, the ego and the grieving and the death of the ego. I don't know if this has anything to do with anything, but it's kind of came to me. If anybody has any other similar, anybody else have any similar things where you get more pains and more things that come up as you unload and become more whatever aware or conscious?
I definitely have had things come up, especially after processing for whatever it is. Yes, I'll just go with yes.
Okay.
You are not alone, sir.
Yeah, I have that sense for sure.
And when you think of it in line with grieving, and they've proven that people they actually suffer a broken heart. The heart will enlarge with grieving, with loss. If not dealt with, it can cause physical issues.
Mm-hmm.
And with dealing with my clients with grieving, and some of them that have been grieving for a long time, I like to ask them, especially if it's over the loss of a loved one or partner, I'll say, if I could talk to that person right now,
Mm-hmm.
and if I were to ask them, how long do they think it would be appropriate for you to be in sorrow and grief over them being gone? And it's always, I always find it interesting to watch the people that I've asked. They sit there and they think about it, and 9 times out of 10 they go, they wouldn't want me to grieve.
Yeah.
And I say, do they not want you to grieve, or have you grieved enough? And it's okay to miss them. You can always miss them and their presence, but how long is it appropriate for you to burden and wear your body down with grief? And that's when usually they said, it's enough. I've proven to them that I loved them and I'm allowed to miss them, but they would prefer that I do not grieve over them any longer. Mark.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think it was Dr. David Snyder that he was teaching something about, if you, again, we have neurons, we call them nerves, all throughout our body. And sometimes, so harkening back to what Greg said, is if enough negative memories are stored in a particular area, that it might manifest as physical pain. And when you start to unpack and do the right, do the work, sometimes those that pain will go away because, again, could be that we went through the grieving process, a lot of people, but I seem to think it was Dr. David who said that sometimes when you like cancer, when you resolve the underlying problems that are located in one particular area, sometimes the pain will go away, and sometimes the cancer will go away because all those neurons in your body are all places where we store memories. So I may be quoting again, it's kind of a little hazy, but I think that's kind of like the right track. Sometimes, like I said, you get a toothache and then, again, but if you're, doing the work, and disrupting the system. Like I had a friend who had a toothache, and I used the spinning or the neurosomatic verbal repatterning to take away his tooth pain. And, so I don't know, like I said, if you have a lot of less than positive memories located in a particular area, again, my understanding of it is if you can disrupt the system or resolve, some of those memories that you've stored in that particular area, the pain may evaporate as well.
Well, and a lot of that is in direct correlation with the book, The Body Keeps the Score.
Mhm.
You look at animals around the planet, and when they deal with high stress, high emotion, high energy things, once it's over and they realize they're safe, what do? They go and they shake it off and they get rid of that excess energy. But not us humans. We're evolved. No, we're going to take all that energy and we're going to find a place to pack it somewhere inside, and then relive it and talk about it and focus on it and all the above. And pretty soon the body is like, hey, this thing down here? We packed it over here by your liver. Well, it's pretty full. And we don't know what to do with all this gunk. So we're just going to cause dis-ease. Dis-ease. And I've seen enough crazy stuff that shouldn't happen, that should be deemed impossible, when people have gone in and they've had things going on in their body, and whether it be through HMR or spinning or regression or many of the modalities that we are blessed to know about. And they go in and they unpack and they're like, okay, this, and all of a sudden they come back and they're like, I went back to the doctor and they can't find what was there. Okay. Tell them to stop looking.
That's right. You can
I
stop.
fixed it. It's gone.
Mhm.
Because it was simply bound up stored energy that was causing a dis-ease in your body.
Yep. Wasn't all of this known a lot clearer when before holistic medicine was killed by the likes of Rockefeller?
Yes.
Which, by the way, even though he brought in his petroleum-based pharmaceuticals and killed homeopathy, he still retained 4 or 5 homeopathic doctors for he and his family.
Yes.
Anyway, he didn't go to Western medicine and take the drugs that he was pushing on the rest of us.
No.
But I think back then they would have said it's quite clear. Yes, we see this all the time. Your psychology affects your physiology.
Yes.
Think differently, know your power. Like back then, it was more about showing people the powerful beings that they are and how to utilize their power to not only heal themselves, but keep themselves from getting diseased to begin with.
Yeah.
Because they knew their power and they could see something come up and go, nope, that ain't happening. I'm not allowing that. And now it's like we've been socially conditioned, like we have no power. We have to go. You feel sick, you go to the doctor, you take a pill, you get surgery or whatever, right?
Yeah.
The craziest is that they glorify it on TV and they show you pretty
Yes.
pictures.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh, what a sham. All of it.
It's weird. It's
Oh
very weird.
yes. Horrible, horrible stuff. It's so unreal, untrue, unnatural, unfair.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we're
Finally heard a doctor the other day on the internet say, physical pain, emotional pain, they're the same things. And I was like, yes, finally the information's getting out there.
right. No kidding. I think we're circling back, as they say, to truth.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding.
That's why when you look at those crazy new medicines like acupuncture,
Yep.
only been around for 4,000 years, but how can you cure something by having somebody jab a needle in you without it being connected to a syringe with some type of concoction that we put together in
Yeah.
a lab?
In a lab. Right.
And I'm not poo-pooing on all Western medicine. Yes, we've had some amazing breakthroughs and
Sure.
they've come up with some great stuff, penicillin.
Mm-hmm.
That obviously we know that works.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at some of the other stuff, there's some of these large health corporations that have taken billions of dollars and not found a cure.
Mm-hmm.
They have found ways to manage it, ways to control it a little bit, but strangely, no cures.
Yeah. Well, that would cut into their profit margin if they found
Yeah.
that silly cure. Come on. Come on.
That's what I love about the stuff that we do.
Yeah.
Watching people being cured of generational
Generational.
disease
Yes. It's huge.
through words.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Simple.
One of my favorite stories, and I wish there was a recording of it. If there is, I would love to find it, about when they were having a symposium on hypnosis, and some Richard Cranium
I feel like
stood
Holly
up in
can
the
find
crowd.
it.
Huh?
I feel like Holly can totally find it.
Yeah, right. But yeah, some Richard Cranium stood up and yelled, "Hypnosis is nothing but a placebo." Thank goodness one of the people on the panel up on stage was quick-witted and went, "Placebo, placebo." Oh, you mean that thing that they test every single drug on the planet against that is up to 70 or 80% effective with zero side effects? Yeah. Wow, what a great endorsement. Thank you so much for that. And of course, the Richard Cranium was like, and laughed and escorted out of the room.
Yep.
And here we are as a small tribe getting to support each other and find different ways to utilize these gifts of consciousness and hypnosis and words and encouragement and love and light and all the above to make our world better, which makes the rest of the world better.
Amen.
I just love you guys. And that leaves us 5 minis for any recap, questions, ahas, epiphanies, cool stuff. Lenora.
I have a question, and if you guys can just like kind of unleash, that would be great. Very specifically, some self-limiting money beliefs that come up for you, like maybe money's hard to come by, or that doesn't that works for other people, not me. What are some of the main thoughts that you have around money?
Mm-hmm.
Even common ones, maybe
in
with
the
clients.
Event that we have only a few minis left,
It's recorded.
I want everybody to tell me what is some of the statements that you heard growing up.
Money doesn't grow on trees.
Oh my goodness, what else we got?
Best friend you'll ever have is the dollar in your pocket.
Oh, there's another good one. Yes. Who else?
Penny wise, pound foolish.
Yes.
Watch your pennies, let the dollars take care of themselves.
You said that like Jim Rohn.
He's a great guy, or he was a great guy.
You work 9 to 5 on your what was it? 9 to 5 on your.
The first time I saw a Jim Rohn video, like when they were black and white,
Yes.
it reminded me of Poltergeist 2. You're gonna burn! You're gonna burn in hell. The preacher with the hat.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he talked just like him.
You work 9 to 5 on your living and 5 to 9 on your fortune until your fortune takes over, and then you
Money
go.
is money is the source of all evil.
Oh yes.
The love.
I asked
the
the
love of
priest one
money.
time. I said, if money is the source of all evil, and this was in class when I was in high school. I said, why does the church ask for it every Sunday? Because I was Catholic. And without missing a beat, the priest turns to me and he goes, because the church wants to take evil away from you.
He's dealt with that one before.
I guess
The
so.
love of money is the root of all evil.
Yes.
Yeah. The lust of money, the love of money is the root of all evil.
Yep.
You kind of had that one locked and loaded.
Well, I was going to say, are there any ones that come to mind that you've struggled with in the past, or that you've heard your clients, you have to work hard to get it? Big time, Renee. I've heard that one too. Yeah, for sure. Me and you, girl.
That's all the more reason you're seeing me today.
That you have to work hard?
Because I want to make your life better.
You do make our life better.
I do, yes.
You do.
And you're worth every penny, because that's exactly why the people, if you were trying to help somebody, you're the person I need to see, because I need to help you with that specifically.
One of some of the things that I do for my clients is to help, especially with their words, to help reinforce things that they say. I write words down and then I hold them up on a Post-it. So like it goes like this right to the camera.
Yes.
So even for you, you are
Thank you.
Succeeding.
You're not trying, you're not doing, you are succeeding.
We won the race.
Mm.
They asked the Dalai Lama one time, what is, why isn't all the poor people in India are always smiling, but the rich people, the Brahmins, they're always frowning? And he said, well, the rich people have to protect their stuff, so they have to they have to be on guard that people aren't going to take their stuff. So they can't relax and actually be happy. But the poor people, if they have a full belly and a place to eat that night, and the chance of a full belly and a chance to eat, chance to sleep the next night, they're happy. So that's one of the secrets of happiness. Can't be worried about stuff.
That's a good one.
Because
Thank
I've had
you.
lots of stuff and had lots of stuff taken away from me, and was blessed to get more stuff and realized that can easily be taken away from me as well. Bless you. And so, one stuff thing that comes and goes is time. And I can't give it back to you guys, or I would. As soon as I figure it out, you'll be the second to know. I say that all the time. So thank you for offering up your precious commodity of time on this platform. I super appreciate it. For those of you in YouTube land, love you, Mom. Love the rest of you as well. And until next week, go out, be bold, have fun, live well, throttle down. We were not meant to putt up into the end of days with a perfectly polished machine. I want to go sliding in, smoke flying, parts falling off, screaming, that was a wild ride. Let's do it again.
Parts falling off. I mean,
Hey, if you run hard, I've watched some of those Baja runs, and they've got the throttle stapled to the floor, and they're just hanging on.
I'd like to go sliding in with all my parts.
There's a rodeo saying that, if you've, had a good day at the rodeo, that, again, afterwards, yeah, it's like you've been rode hard and put up wet, meaning the tack, so
It's a good one.
Exactly.
that's living.
All right, kids.
Thank
Good
you,
night, friends.
everyone. Thanks, TJ.